for our Vitrina podcast with the CEO of Friday Filmworks, Devin. Devin, welcome to the Vitrina podcast.
Thanks, sir.
Super excited to be in Mumbai in your offices. Just being sort of talking about all of the new stuff that Friday Filmworks is doing across all your businesses. One of the things that we actually do is to present not only how the year has been, but also what the outlook is. So today we'll actually sort of talk to you about 2023, all the development projects that you've actually done, also some of the upcoming 2024 projects. One aspect that I'd love to sort of get us started with is for the Vitrina network to understand what Friday Filmworks is and how the business is structured, as well as you have multiple divisions, and would be sort of great to understand that. And then of course would love to know your story as well, your journey with Friday Filmworks.
So, last year, September 5th, 2023 is when we finished 15 years of Friday Filmworks. Now, across these 15 years, Friday Filmworks has done close to over 22 projects, right? 12 of them happen to be feature films, right? Multi-languages as well. So, Hindi, we've done in Marathi as well as Bengali, okay? And then about 8 big web series in the digital space. But let me just tell you about how we are structured first. So we have a feature films vertical. Our first movie that we started was A Wednesday, and that was in 2008 with Nasruddin Shah and Anupam Kher.
That was a massive hit.
That was a massive hit.
It was a box office success at the time.
Massive. And you didn't really have the digital comfort at that point of time, right? So you just had a theatrical or a television, and you never made direct-to-television films.
That's right.
So that movie actually broke through on a couple of levels, right? One was it did not have any superstars, right? It had two great actors, but aging actors, right? So you couldn't imagine a thriller with two aging actors for a full-fledged theatrical release. Right? Coincidentally, that was also remade into multiple languages. After it got released in Hindi, one of the languages was English, and Ben Kingsley starred in that. Right? So normally you have the remakes happening other way around. From Hollywood into Hindi. This was
the other way around.
This. So that was the first one. Our last theatrical was Ayari, which was in 2017, right? And now we are coming up with our next one. So that's as far as the feature films division is concerned. Then we have a digital vertical, which is called Friday Storytellers. Now that has again multiple sub-verticals within that, right?
So that's been in the news in a big way. All the relationships, and we'll of course delve into the relationships with Disney and Amazon and Netflix, and but that division's been has been in the news.
So that division is about 4 years old now. In 2019 we launched our first web show, which was Special Ops, right? Now, which has become, and this was in partnership with Disney Hotstar, right? And that became a huge hit.
That's right.
Right? So much so that it became a part of the pop culture, right? And coincidentally, we had the pandemic coming in. And you had the Rajasthan police, etc., tweeting that Himmat Singh was the protagonist, is urging you guys to stay home and not take any risk. The best testimony to it becoming a part of pop culture. So post that, it's now become a successful franchise for Disney Hotstar. We would be launching Special Ops Season 2 shortly in the next 4 to 5 months.
And then again, Season 2 is on Disney Hotstar.
Yes, it will be on. So this is actually an IP which is owned by Disney Hotstar, and that was our first one. Post that, then we have had a very successful run with Netflix as well with Khakee.
Right.
So that's also gone into Season 2. We have done about 8 such series. Right. We have an ongoing franchise also with Discovery, right, which is under the umbrella of Secrets. So we did Secrets of Sanoli, then Secrets of Kohinoor. Now the third one is getting launched on 21st of Jan, which is Secrets of the Buddha Relics. Right. So again, just to give you a backdrop, so Friday Storytellers has sub-verticals. So one is of course our the fiction which we are talking about the Special Ops of the world.
Right.
Second is the documentary, which is Secrets, right? Third is we are also kickstarting with our direct to digital films, and we have an ongoing relationship there with Netflix. So you'll see the first one hitting the theaters very soon. Sorry, hitting the platform very soon. This could be somewhere in the month of September or October.
Got it. Yeah, it's interesting that the series with Discovery Plus is called Secrets of, and then you have obviously different aspects that you cover.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Vitrina network would love to understand the secrets of Friday Filmworks in getting that division talking to all of the leading streaming brands.
Right.
But we'll chat a little bit more about those secrets in a little bit.
Yeah, but before that, I would also want to tell you about our third vertical, which is specialized, which is a specialized sports vertical, and that's called Bootroom Sports. Right. So Bootroom Sports we launched in the year 2022, and we did that with two projects. Right. One was an iconic sports film on a cricketer called Praveen Tambe. Right. Now, Praveen Tambe is an IPL player. He made his debut in 2013. In 2014, he took a hat trick and got the purple cap for taking the most number of wickets in that year. But the fascinating part is that when he made his debut, he was 41. Last year, when he got selected again, he is 49. Now, IPL is one of the most competitive global, playground, right? And where you make a debut at 16, 17. Most of the players retire by 37, 38. So a cricketer making a debut at 41 itself is a story in itself. And then achieving success. So that was one story which was very close to our hearts. Second one was again it was a docu-feature based on a docu-series based on a test series that had happened between India and Australia. Right, this was in 2021-22. So that's called Bando Mein Tha Dam. Right, and the beauty of this test series was that Indian cricket team was touring Australia. It was supposed to be a whitewash by the Aussies, and everybody had predicted a 4-0 sweep for the Aussies. The first test was a disaster for India. We were all out for 36 in the first innings. We lost that test very badly.
Ouch.
Virat Kohli had to come back for some personal, and a lot of our key stars, were down with injuries. So we were left with the second-run team battling the top-seeded Australians. And from there, we went on to win the series 2-1.
Wow.
Right. So it was again. So that's a small introduction to Bootroom Sports.
Got it. Fascinating. So essentially 3 divisions, and then all rolling up into Friday Filmworks, which is the main company. So one of the things that we were discussing before we started this discussion was the fact that last year, 2023, was a very busy year, largely on a lot of development work that was happening. From all the launches that you have this year, that's actually the work that actually was seeded in 2023. Right? How was the process like? How was last year? Talk a little bit about that.
So like I was telling you that we established Friday Storytellers in 2019, right? And the series, some of our the series that we launched, we started from 2019, and then Khakee was released in 2022. Now, touchwood, but the good part is that most of the work that we've done has gone into multi-seasons, because it has made a very strong business impact for the platforms. And when I mean business impact, that's in terms of gaining new subscribers.
Interesting.
Right. And at the end of the day, we can talk about multiple metrics like watch time, etc., engagement, but I think business impact is the one, that actually is the key. Right? Because you end up getting more subscribers, they want to stay, and hence, that converts into a franchise. So whatever we did between 2020 and 2022, right? Everything went into multi-season. So last year was heavily invested in, bringing those concepts to life, looking at those great stories, from across India, right? So Khakee season 2 will be a different setup. So season 1 was set in Bihar, Season 2 will be set in a different state, and that's how we are visualizing that franchise, to look at some of the key stories coming from India across different states. What that lends is a different palette, different grammar, different tonality, different and that's where the nuances of culture, the nuances of that time period, all of that come in. Right. So Khaki season 2 is set in West Bengal. 3, hopefully it will happen, and we will be looking at a story from a different state.
Understood.
Right. Similar is the story with Special Ops as well. So last complete year was spent, and part of it, shooting for that, because it's again mounted on a big scale. It traverses 3 countries. It's again a very event-based phenomena, right? So yeah. So last year was actually invested in Khaki and Special Ops. There were 2 feature films, one which went on floors, right? The Secrets franchise, that we are doing with Discovery. So multiple of these projects either were under development or under execution.
And then you did have a couple of launches, and that was with.
Yes, that was with. So one was with Disney,
right.
Hotstar. Yeah, second one was with Amazon Mini TV.
Right. And again, just for context, Amazon Mini TV for our network is largely a brand that exists in India. It's actually launched as a free TV of sorts.
Yeah.
And that's again been a pretty interesting relationship.
So that platform is actually addressing an inflection point between subscription-driven revenues versus advertiser-driven revenues, right? And Mini TV actually is launched parallel to their SWOT platform, which is Prime Video. And Mini TV is experimenting with a lot of genres and a lot of formats, right? So right from documentaries to feature films, which they are breaking it down into mini episodes, to crime, to romance, targeting young adults, as well as the smaller towns, and that's where they want to get the captive audiences from. So when we met up with Mini TV and they spoke, I mean, clearly it was a bit of a blue sky brief that but crime is one genre which is quite universal. It attracts, and there was a concept that we have been working on, which is on cyber crimes, and these are all real cases which all of us actually encounter, right? From fraud calls to searches that we do on internet, and some of them can have potentially disastrous consequences, right? So the intent here was twofold. One was, of course, to entertain and educate at the same time, right? Because some of the things that people in smaller towns, especially elderly people, etc., can take for granted, that what happens if I just do a Google search, how can that lead to a fraud? But well, it can, right? At the same time, I think one of the episodes talks about cyberbullying, right? Or potentially these morph videos that can get circulated and the consequences it can have. So all real cases, but we want to take that franchise forward with multiple such cases.
Absolutely.
So that was on Mini TV and very well distributed, very well marketed. So that's one that we launched last year. Second one was, of course, Freelancer, which was on Disney Hotstar, a true story based on a girl's rescue from ISIS.
Understood. Fascinating. And look, the commercial success that one sees as some of these shows and series are rolling out. Discovery Plus, Netflix, Disney Hotstar, and then of course Amazon Mini TV. One is obviously sort of curious about the overall sort of development process, the selection of stories, and then the treatment of those. One of the things that, as you were sort of talking about all of these projects, a lot of these are very powerful stories, and they're uniquely Indian. Talk a little bit about the whole development process and how that's actually, and also what is the formula for all of these hits? Because one of the reputations that Friday Filmworks has is that there are an exceptional set of hits that have actually come out, and would be very very interesting to sort of understand both the selection of stories, the development process, and then finally the commercial success that these projects have had?
So the ingrained philosophy of the company's content comes first, right? So we are not really. I mean, for us, if it's a great story, if we want to tell it, we'll tell it. It's not really dependent on a actor or things like that, right? So for us, the fundamental bet is the story.
So stay true to the story.
Stay true to the content, stay true to the story, stay true to the concept. And the selection, so everybody within Friday is actually a reader. Okay, we love reading, we love listening to great stories, and also the belief that a great story can come from everywhere. So if you look at, and then not just my time, but most of us in this core group, we invest a lot of time in meeting new writers, in meeting new people, in meeting new directors, right? And this is from all corners of India, right? And most of our stories come from there, right? Of course, there are some good books, etc. That organically come to us as well. So it's a mix of many things, right? And one thing I can tell you that the hit ratio is always 2 to 3%. We have to go through 100 stories before you find that one, right? And we don't know whether that one will be the first or the last,
right?
So so that's that's a cumbersome but an enjoyable process.
Got it.
So that's one. I think your second question was what's the formula for success, right? I wish we knew. I wish we knew because and internally I was asking this question to Neeraj once that how do we ensure. And he said something very interesting. He says, look, the only thing that's in our control is, asking ourselves whether we have put in our 150% or not. So not too much focused on the outcome, but as far as input is concerned, have we done our best? And he says, internally, if we ask that question to ourselves, we know the answers, right? That have we really worked hard for this? If the answer to that is yes, he says, there always will be a couple of instances where we will not get it right? But more often than not, that works. And more often than not, that has worked for us. But I can tell you, if I had to answer to this question, then we wouldn't even have had any couple of...
Okay, so I'll ask you a question that you might have an answer to.
Sure.
Which is the fact that in terms of the execution by Friday Filmworks, there is again another reputation that the company goes with, which is that these are high budget, high success rate, high impact series and content, but they are also delivered in a very speedy manner, right? So how does that sort of come about? What's the secret sauce there?
So internally, the process at our end is, one is of course the entire. I'll actually begin by putting it on the creator legacy, right? Because Neeraj, Sheetal both have a unique way of working as far as stories are concerned, and the entire Friday team as well. Okay. And what we do is, as far as the timelines are concerned, there are 4 things that happen in parallel. Okay. We do script writing. Okay. Once the script is in process, right? It's not even complete. We start our casting. Okay. And the pre-production at the same time. So what happens is this entire process, which otherwise might take you about 18 months, is crunch down to 5 to 6 months. Right? And also we over-invest in the pre-production bit, so that then the production becomes very easy for us. Right? So we have our schedules in place, we have the locations already finalized, actor dates locked. So rarely have we had hiccups. And the couple of times when we have had hiccups is force majeure. Like we went to Mauritius, with the intent of shooting for Ops 1.5, and 15 days we were in quarantine. 16th day when we went for a shoot, that's when Mauritius got a couple of COVID cases, and then they imposed a nationwide lockdown. Now those parameters are not in your control.
That's right.
But more often than not, the approach of doing 3 or 4 things parallelly. Right. And I think larger credit also goes to our platforms who trust us with this process, right? That so they have that faith. So that collaboration between us and the platform right, actually is the secret sauce.
Fascinating, fascinating. One of the more sort of pressures on streaming and some of the digital platforms is for stories to also be very cross-border and appealing to a much wider audience, right? One of the things that we were talking about earlier was also relating to stories that are now coming to you, which actually have that appeal. Any examples that you want to sort of talk about?
So two examples actually, but the latest one being Khakee. So Khakee was trending across 13 countries for about 4 weeks. And so that was on Netflix, and Netflix constantly keeps tracking. We can also access the reports. But what has happened in the last couple of years is that every platform has made it a local policy, right? So every story is first commissioned from the local perspective. So the fact that it has the ability to travel and it travels is actually the icing. But the core cake is, if it's not going to appeal to the Indian audiences, it will not even see the light of the day. Right. So that's fundamentally the
Got it. And there was another story that you were working on, which essentially has sports, women empowerment, a very strong theme of leadership, competition, and it's a real life story as well. I don't know if you're able to sort of share that.
No, I would love to. It's basically on this. The sport is actually kabaddi, right? And kabaddi is a very, very popular sport
in this part of the world.
In this part of the world, you have the local kabaddi league, which has a lot of international players coming from Russia, Australia, and all of that. And it's one of the highest rated sport after IPL. So that's it. This is a part of Boardroom Sports, which is our sports vertical. And again, comes back to the first question that you had posed, that what's the secret sauce of looking for these great stories? And this had actually come from a write-up.
Interesting.
This is about a lady, who wanted to coach the Indian women's kabaddi team, didn't get a chance, and then was picked up by the Iranian women's team, right? And it talks about her time in Iran, right? Being there as a foreigner, breaking some of those stereotypes over there, right? Breaking the personal barriers, right? And making that team, which was actually ranked number 5, number 6, to Commonwealth champions.
Got it. And some of these stories do lend themselves for collaboration with international studios, production houses. How do you feel about co-pro opportunities coming in from other parts
So
of the
we
world?
would be very excited. So for instance, even this story that we spoke about, right? Now what it talks about, two cultures, right? So there's the Indian culture and then there's the Iranian culture, right? You're talking about basically it's women. I don't know whether I should use the word empowerment, but it's actually two cultures coming together. It's and the backdrop of sports, right? Competing on the global stage, right? You are also talking about a lot of stereotypes, including gender stereotypes, which are a part of this. And somewhere, this actually, the way we are looking at it is a global content, which will transcend multiple countries, because all women across the world, face a lot of these similar issues, right? At the same time, everybody wants to be a champion.
That's right.
Right. So hence, we would be very, very excited to explore some global opportunities of collaboration, on stories like this.
Well, I mean, within the Vitrina network, I can tell you that there is a massive amount of excitement about the Indian market, stories coming in from the Indian context. And some of these themes that you talked about actually do appeal to multiple different cultures and societies. So they do transcend boundaries and cultures from that perspective.
So can I just add on something on that?
Please.
So the latest show, The Freelancer, which was on Disney Hotstar. Again, it's a true story about how a girl was extracted from the ISIS stronghold of Syria. Right. And again, it's a true story. There's one small trivia over there, but India is the third largest army in the world. right? So what happens to these soldiers after they retire, right? Everybody doesn't want to be a doorkeeper at a five-star hotel. So we have a largest team of mercenaries as well who are operating outside of India, right? So you can imagine the kind of stuff that they are doing and the kind of stories that come. Right. So this Ticket to Syria, the book and the freelancer on which we've created this series is again actually a similar story. You know, and I would love you to watch it and give me your feedback on that.
Would be exciting. So one aspect that we were discussing also was just the list of launches that you have.
Yeah.
We counted launches with Disney, Netflix. You've got multiple launches with Netflix. And then of course you've got a theatrical launch this year.
Right.
So how's the calendar looking like just in terms of these launches? When do we start seeing the first rollouts?
So busy in a good way. I think our first one would be with Discovery One network, which will happen on the 21st of Jan, which is the documentary feature that I was speaking about.
That's Discovery Plus.
That's Discovery Plus, called Secrets of the Buddha Relics. So it talks about Gautam Buddha's Last Supper, and the fact that there were about 80,000 pieces of relics that were distributed all over, and the relics define parts from his body to things he had touched, things he had eaten, so on and so forth. So that's on the 21st of Jan. Then we follow it up with our theatrical, which is Auro Mein Kahan Dam Tha.
Right.
Okay, that's a big theatrical.
So that's a nationwide launch.
That's a nationwide.
Is there a global launch?
It's actually a multi-language.
Oh, okay.
We of course will be targeting Indians abroad as well.
That's right.
Yeah, so it will go beyond India and it's in multi-languages as well. Okay, so it will be adapted in 4 languages.
Okay.
And that's a romance. It has Ajay Devgan Tabu in the lead, and of course with other cast members as well. So that's in April. June we will see Special Ops Season 2.
Okay.
Okay, that's on Disney Hotstar.
Right.
Then we have a direct-to-digital heist movie coming up. Okay, that will go for shoot immediately, and we're looking at releasing that somewhere around October, November. Okay, that will be on Netflix, and hopefully we should be ending the year with Khakee Season 2.
Okay. Wow.
So it's a busy year in a good way.
That's amazing, actually. That is. It looks like both a busy but very highly productive year from that perspective. Just want to wish you all the very best and all the very best to your team as well at Friday Filmworks.
Super.
And across all your divisions. I'm sure that some of the things that you talked about today would have inspired a host of our members on Vitrina to reach out to you as well as to sort of try and get collaboration doing. For them to actually benefit from a lot of the success that Friday Filmworks is actually experiencing.
So being the first subscriber for Vitrina in India.
Yes.
And
we thank you for your business.
No, but we would be banking a lot on Vitrina to open up some of these opportunities. Also help us go into other countries. Collaborate with other line producers, right? Because on Friday we thrive on the scale. So Ticket to Syria was shot across multiple countries. The movie that I'm talking about, we are already in conversations, thanks to some conversations with you, with Vitrina, with all the help that we get. We are exploring other countries as well. Special Ops was again shot in 3 countries. So the whole idea is also to give our audiences a new landscape, every time, to surprise them, to delight them, and we would want a lot of logic, analytics to come into play, and that really banking on Vitrina, which already is doing that for us, but hopefully many more of such.
Absolutely. We through a lot of the information and intelligence that we are capturing, we are taking India to the world. We're bringing the world to India in a way. So, again,
it's time for that now, right?
It's a great time, especially 2024 looks really exciting, with some really great and high quality work coming out of the Indian market. But again, on behalf of Vitrina and our entire network, thank you so much for speaking with us.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you.